thinking about Gandalf's power, what image do you remember? A blinding flash of lightning striking back the Nazgul atop Weathertop, or the moment he broke the bridge of Khazad-dûm, confronting the Balrog monster in blazing fire. Those are the most violent and eye-catching images. But the truth is, we have completely misunderstood this wizard. If Gandalf's power only lay in swords and destructive magic, Middle-earth would have fallen long ago. Today, we will uncover a harsh truth. The real weapon that helped Gandalf overthrow the Dark Lord was not the fire that incinerates enemies. So what is his ultimate power, actually? Welcome back to the Mythos Archive. Let's find out. They did not know whence came the fair visions or the promptings of wisdom that he sowed into their hearts. Fundamentally, when looking at the character of Olórin, Gandalf's true self before incarnating into the form of an old man, perhaps he did not possess innate, destructive power like other Maiar. While Eärnwe, the herald of the god Manwë, was considered the greatest warrior among the Ainur when charging into battle, and Mairon, later Sauron, possessed great crafting power, along with dark magic, learned from Melkor. Olórin never showed off power through pure might or violence. Instead, compassion and love were what guided him, pushing him to become one who inspires and gives wise advice. The Valar gods whom he served, Manwë, Vada, Urmo, and Nienna, were all symbols of great nobility and virtue. Among them, the one who had the most profound influence on the fate of Middle-earth was the goddess Nienna, the god of pity and mourning. She taught Olórin the greatest lesson, compassion. This very lesson completely changed the landscape of the War of the Ring. Remember the moment in the dark dungeon when Bilbo, and later Frodo, had the chance to finish off the hideous creature Gollum. It was Gandalf's advice that echoed and stopped them. Compassion stayed Bilbo's hand. Do not be too hasty to pass a judgment of death to anyone. If Gandalf had not been taught about pity by the goddess Nienna, he might have let Bilbo kill Gollum. And if Gollum died early, the One Ring would never have been destroyed at Mount Doom. Gandalf's compassion, in reality, was a kind of power that was decades ahead of its time. Right from the ancient days in the work Silmarillion, Olórin never liked to show off his power. He was described as one who would rather hide himself among the elves whom he loved, or appear in the form of someone like them, to sow into their minds fair visions or wise advice, brightening their hearts. He was the wisest among the Maiar. And that was the fundamental motivation pushing Gandalf to accomplish the great deeds that saved Middle-earth, turning him into an outstanding wizard. Certainly, as one of the Ainur entities who once contributed to creating the world, his potential power was much greater than what he actually displayed. He restrained that power himself, perhaps because of his own wisdom. Later, under the directives of the Valar, he came to Middle-earth with the role of an advisor instead of a warrior or a tyrant. And he fulfilled this mission more excellently than anyone among the 5 wizards who were sent. Before coming to Middle-earth, in the meeting of the Valar Council, Olórin once admitted that he was very afraid of Sauron and thought himself too weak to take on this mission. But precisely because of that fear, the god Manwë decreed that Olórin must go all the more. Indeed, in the panorama of Middle-earth, the thing needed to save the Free Peoples was not a great ostentatious power like that of Eärnwe, because if needed, Eärnwe himself would have been sent. No, Middle-earth needed a different kind of power, the power to inspire so that the Free Peoples would stand up themselves and save themselves. Gandalf was exactly the power of that wisdom and hope. while Iwendil, Radagast, immersed himself in the power of nature, and the two blue wizards disappeared without a trace, Gandalf remained steadfast on his path. Gandalf's greatness is most clearly revealed when we put him on the scale with the one who fell, Saruman. When facing the overwhelming force of Sauron, Saruman trembled with fear and believed that only violence could defeat violence. He locked himself in the Tower of Orthanc, crossbred the bloodthirsty Uruk-hai orcs, built a war machine, and despised the weak. In contrast, Gandalf understood that brute strength could not defeat primal evil. Instead of seeking the greatest warriors, he placed his trust and the fate of the world into the hands of the smallest, weakest, and most often ignored creatures, the hobbits. Gandalf used smallness to defeat hugeness, used sincerity to defeat all schemes. When he arrived in Middle-earth, although limited in the form of an old man, Gandalf still possessed certain shape-shifting powers. By his foresight, Círdan the Shipwright saw through Gandalf's need and gave him Narya, the Ring of Fire. Círdan said that the ring would support Gandalf to overcome the weariness he had to bear, and it would rekindle the fire in hearts in a world that is gradually becoming cold. The power of the ring. Narya seemed to be born to amplify the very qualities that Gandalf already possessed, because in the Third Age, Middle-earth needed countless sources of inspiration and wise advice to reach victory. We should also not ignore the fact that Gandalf self-proclaimed to be a servant of the secret fire. In Tolkien's world, the secret fire, or the flame, imperishable, is the metaphysical essence that brings true life and free will. Gandalf's inspiring will is exactly the embodiment of that fire. This is a kind of power much greater than the might of Eönwë or the cunning of Sauron. Thorough words given at the right time can lift up an entire nation, pushing people to fight for the common good of the whole world. Think about the way Gandalf lifted up King Theoden and saved the people of Gondor. Think about the way he inspired Bilbo to venture into the adventure. That journey changed the world forever, destroying the last great dragon, rebuilding the dwarven civilization, and finding the One Ring, the turning point that led to the doom of Sauron. Everything stemmed from Bilbo being inspired by Gandalf. Saying so does not mean that Gandalf did not know how to fight. He certainly possessed fearsome magic, calling forth fire to burn the goblin and warg packs, fighting the Nazgul on the peak of Weathertop with brilliant bolts of lightning, or emitting a blinding light to chase away the Nazgul to save Faramir before the gates of Minas Tirith. And most notably, in the grueling 10-day battle with the Balrog monster, Durin's Bane, he fully revealed his divine might, only to collapse on the peak of Zirak-Sigil. His body had died, his soul left the world. The plan of the Valar seemed to have failed. But at this moment, a miracle happened. The Supreme Creator, Eru Ilúvatar, personally intervened. This was the only direct intervention of God throughout the Third Age. He resurrected Gandalf, promoted him to Gandalf the White, and sent him back. Why? Because out of the 5 wizards who were sent, Saruman had fallen. The others had given up. Only Gandalf alone remained absolutely loyal to the mission of protecting mankind. That resurrection was exactly the nod of the Supreme Being, affirming that the path of compassion and humility that Gandalf chose was greater than any brutal magic. His ultimate power was to lift others up. He used his voice to shatter Saruman's manipulative magic at Isengard, arouse courage for Frodo, and guide the free peoples in the darkest times when they lacked a leader. Gandalf is the embodiment of wisdom, compassion, and pity. He rejected the One Ring because he knew it would turn him into a dictator. By maintaining his wisdom and helping others rise, he created the greatest changes that a Maiar had ever done in Middle-earth. He overcame his fear not through violence, but through cautious courage and hope filled with love. And so we come to the end of the story. Through the image of Gandalf, we recognize a profound philosophy of Tolkien. It is not destructive power that will change the world, but exactly the purpose for which we use that power that makes history. A timely piece of advice, a little bit of compassion, can illuminate the darkest places of Middle-earth. Thank you all very much for watching. What do you think about Gandalf's true power? Is his wisdom greater than the power of the Vala? Let me know down in the comments section. Do not forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to step with me into the next adventures exploring the world of J.R.R. Tolkien. Goodbye, and see you again in the next videos on the Mythos Archive.